Hello and welcome to my space today. I'm doing it a little differently, just because I'm away from my normal place, so I kind of just wanted to do because honestly when I'm doing tarot sometimes, especially when I'm just retreating or like taking a little break, I'm just usually in my bed doing it, so that's where I am today. But I've had like the angels come to me with lots of different messages this week, and I have kind of been putting it off just because I have been just kind of like resting a little bit. But they've had lots of messages come throughout the week, but it's always good because when I retreat like that and I allow myself to like just rest, that's when I receive the most messages. Because I'm not distracting myself with so much busyness. I totally am I've learned that like growing up. So this is going to be an angel reading. Just for whenever you find this video, it's meant to reach you. You can set an intention to receive messages. You can ask for a synchronicity, but basically I'm just going to be talking about any angel messages that I get through. Like I work closely with archangels, so I felt Archangel Raphael with me, Archangel Michael, mostly those two, but also Archangel Samuel, also Archangel Uriel, so and Archangel Ariel. Anyway, I just kind of wanted to see what's coming through, but like I was saying, I was taught to be busy, like keep yourself busy, as a way to distract yourself from your feelings. I think a lot of us have been taught that. I think that's like a societal thing, both men and women. No genders apply here either. So learning how to like actually slow down, because it's usually in those moments when you're like slowing down that you beat yourself up, that you're not nice to yourself, like you tell yourself you're being lazy, or like you just, because you weren't taught that way, like you weren't taught to rest, you're like tend to be more like hyper vigilant or like anxious, so you always have to be like doing something or like distracting yourself, or and then you punish yourself when you do rest. That's one of the things I would always do. But it's really important when you're resting like that to really nourish yourself. Give your body lots of love, drink lots of water, eat healthy foods. I'm not always the best at that, because it's usually when I'm like resting like that I'm like in my inner child and like I'm really nostalgic. It's like taking care of that 6-year-old that just needs to like have a rest, that needs a nap, that's worn down, that's tired. I think a lot of kids, if you have kids, maybe that's a message for them, like slow down and notice how like they need time. This time of year is really important for all of us to slow down, but especially our children, because they've been learning, and they're always constantly learning and processing. Their brain is always processing. So when you're really when you're not like living in your subconscious and in your subconscious mind anymore, but you're very aware, you're living more in your conscious mind, and so you're always processing information, like not from the physical world necessarily, but from like the energetic and from emotional. So you're tuned in to your senses, and so you're always processing. So you're not might gonna need more naps and more rest, or you might have a lot of bursts of energy, kind of like children do. But then you also have to take equal amounts of rest and taking naps, or like even just sitting down and connecting to the earth, or being really present, or getting back into your body, or stopping and doing some yoga and stretching, or stopping and doing a meditation. So it's like you've really learned how to reparent yourself, basically. So I think that's what a lot of us are looking for, is like that tender love and care. It's like the romantic time of year, is coming up. I actually felt Cupid with me. I felt his energy come to me. It's so funny. Like I heard and I saw like the image of what we like kind of depict as Cupid. I don't really see it like that. It's just an energy. So, but I felt the energy come to me and I kind of laughed, and it's kind of like that romantic energy, but it's really about divine romance to me, and connecting with that, connecting with the energy of romance, and like romancing yourself. And that doesn't mean just taking care of yourself like a lover, but it is important to like touch your body, get in tune with your sensuality, get in touch with like what feels good for you, like really getting to know yourself intimately. And then it's kind of like worshiping your body. It's like prayer. And then like by giving thanks for your body and like nourishing your body, like your body is always keeping you alive, your body is always helping you, and it's really our job, and one and only job, to help our body. So that's why also Archangel Raphael comes to me. He's a healer, and he has really helped me with like eating more vegetarian, and I'm not 100% perfect. I will never be perfect. Like it's so hard for me to like transition my food, and like I'm always being asked to change it up and like to change my food, and sometimes I'm really resistant to it. And it's really funny because something else that I've learned and what I'm recognizing, especially this time of year, like we use chocolates and like, you know, you think about that like sensuality, like strawberries, and you know, and you think about like deliciousness stuff, like what is delicious to you. And sometimes actually what I've been recognizing is that yoga is delicious for me. Like it feels so delicious to move my body like that, or dancing is delicious, you know. So it's not but I tend to have a sweet tooth, and I grew up in a house where like sugar was like, you know, our drug. Like sugar was it, and we had tons of sugar in the house, and it's really hard. But sugar makes me super like moody, and it also makes me like yeah, it just makes me really imbalanced, I've noticed. And so I mean, I really enjoy it. Obviously, who doesn't like sugar, especially when you have like a taste for it, you know, and you're used to it. But like really disciplining yourself to like because sometimes when we want that sweetness, you know, like we're just craving sweetness. I feel like that we want sweetness, but we have to be really sweet to ourselves. And a lot of people aren't sweet to themselves. They're mean to themselves. They hate themselves. They're, you know, they punish themselves, and they're really hard on themselves. And what we're really learning is how to be sweet. If we want sweetness, like if we want people to be sweet to us, we have to be sweet to ourselves in order to attract that and reflect that. But like I said, the sugar addiction, you know, people have sugar addiction. It's a real thing. It's crazy. It's like, it's so insane, but it's like going towards that physical sweetness, and then you get that like kind of that same feeling you would get if someone was being sweet to you, or like romancing you, or loving you, you know, like that. So you kind of want to search to the outside, but then can you generate it like by doing yoga, or by you know, dancing, or like giving yourself a massage. One of my favorite things to do for myself is massage myself. Especially like my ankles or my legs, actually just my whole body, my neck and my shoulders. I love massaging myself because, well, one, nobody can do it as quite good as you. Like, you know exactly your points and what you need to do, so that's one of my favorite things to do in those times instead of like sugar binging. But I'm not gonna lie, I do. I reach for the sugar. I just don't punish myself, and I don't like feel guilty for it. So that's really important too. Don't like guilt yourself or punish yourself or like shame yourself. Okay, let's just see what the angels have to say now that I've blabbed. But I'm just feeling the energy of like sweetness and romance and love. You know, it is almost Valentine's Day, so makes sense. Alright. Oh yes, and I love this. So we had the Ace of Cups and the World fall out together. And this to me screams like self-love, self-care, like I was saying, basically like nourishing yourself, because the Ace of Cups is like a new emotional fulfillment. Like this could be new love. It always represents like self-love to me. There's a dove on the cards. That might be a message for you. And there's also an eagle on this card. It looks like a ram maybe, and a lion. So those all may be like significant spirit animals that you might work with, because in these readings, like these angel readings, I'm also calling upon like my fairies and my spirit animals, and I work closely with spirit animals. So and I actually did just see this eagle on the news the other day. It ran into this like semi windshield, and it was so cute. So I don't know why I just said that, but the animals kind of are sticking out to me. And then the lion like asks us to step into like our heart center and be really courageous, and sometimes it's really courageous just to love ourselves and to be the one that takes care of ourselves. So this feels like a completion of a cycle where it's like no longer relying on like an outside source to provide you the emotional fulfillment, like really generating this yourself through different activities, like loving yourself, like I was saying, like self-massage, or changing your diet, or exercising, or, you know, body movement, like dancing, or creating new habits that make you feel good, that make you feel like your cup is overflowing. It's overflowing with love because you're giving it to yourself, like spirit is giving it to you. And when your love is coming from spirit, then it just pours out of you, so you feel like you're just overflowing with love. And this just helps you to like attract more loving things into your life. Like you'll just begin to notice more love everywhere you look. It's kind of a bizarre feeling. Like it's like I'm also hearing and seeing the word compassion. I'm also wearing like this light pink color, and I've been attracted to pink, and it is, like I said, almost Valentine's Day, so pink is one of those colors, and it's like using color to help you feel connected to your senses. You know, it's a great way to lighten the mood, and just like, I don't know, pink is a very soft and gentle color, so it's like being more gentle with yourself. So I feel like this completion, it's like no more hating yourself. You know, this is about loving yourself now, and being gentle, and being compassionate with yourself, and being at peace. That's what I see the dove as a symbol as, is peace. So this could be a cup of just feeling at peace within yourself. You're emotionally balanced, you're feeling happy, you're feeling loved, like you're feeling taken care of, you're feeling abundantly supplied with like love. So that's a beautiful card, and you might want to be like near water or drink lots of water, or take a bath, like a salt bath. Those are another great ways. Or like putting rose petals in your bath. Like buy yourself some flowers for Valentine's Day. Like, okay, if you're single and you're like watching this and like you're wanting to attract love, like seriously romance yourself. Like take yourself out on a date, take yourself out to dinner, maybe take yourself out to a movie. Like take yourself out, treat yourself really nice, buy yourself flowers, maybe have yourself a glass of wine, buy yourself some wine. I mean, it depends on what you like. Take yourself out, do what you love. You know, and this really, you know, just makes you feel whole. That's kind of the energy I'm getting here with this world card, is like wholeness, oneness, you know, complete full circle, like finding your divinity, finding that balance within yourself so that you feel whole all on your own. And when you feel whole all on your own, one, you're powerful, because, you know, nothing can take that away from you. Nobody can, like, you can't be emotionally manipulated anymore. So it's like, nobody can make you feel bad about yourself. It's just like you're learning to be present in the moment, so you're not carrying baggage into the present moment of like other people's opinions or judgments about you. Just like really feeling whole on your own and feeling connected to source, like you're connected to this ever-flowing like fountain within you. And this is literally like the fountain of youth. So youth has nothing to do with like your body or your skin or like how young you look. It has everything to do with your spirit and how in tune you are to your spirit. And this is really about getting in tune to your spirit, because it's your emotional body. Yeah, connecting to that aspect of yourself really fulfills you. It makes you feel really good. And then you're able to like supply that into your relationships. You're outpouring more love into your like romantic relationships, into your family, into your children, into your home, into your business. You're just able to generate a lot more love. And then you begin to see that coming back into you, like and so your cup is never empty, it's always filled and it's always overflowing. So I really like that there. It's like really recognizing what it is that makes you feel happy and at peace, like generating that for yourself. Okay, I'm also pulling out the 5 of Cups. So this is like emotional loss, this is grief, this is sadness, this is like only focusing on maybe what you've lost in the past, or looking at the past and not seeing that there's still 2 cups standing here. It's like a very like pessimistic attitude, like a pessimistic view. And so it's like I love the cloak that he's like wearing though. It's like dark and black, so even if you feel this way, actually I'm feeling that a majority of the people, like the collective energy that I'm tapping into feels very like sad or lonely or depressed or down, only focused on their mistakes and all the bad things they've done. Like they're really shaming themselves and like really beating themselves up. That's kind of energy I'm getting. Or you're just feeling run down or tired or like hopelessness, like nothing is going to change, nothing good is happening. But this is a card of the number 5, so it is change, but it might feel gruesome. That's the word I hear. It just feels like lonely. Or it's funny. Okay, so I wanted to kind of share this personal story about my fairies. So I've been close to fairies for a really long time, and I didn't really know this as a kid, you know, not until I began to like awaken spiritually and get back into my spiritual gifts. And I remember them being there, but this is really funny because I remember as a child, I was about 6 years old, and I've been doing a lot of work with my 6-year-old self, like just making sure she's like feeling safe and taken care of, like a mother basically, and happy and joyful. And anyway, it was about 6 years old that I like basically abandoned my spiritual gifts and my archangels, which I have another story about Archangel Michael. And yeah, these fairies, I had this feeling of super sadness when I think about like Mother Earth and like trees burning down and trees being cut down and like just the earth being destroyed. But I also do a lot of like shamanic like traveling and stuff, and like journeying through different lifetimes that I've had, and it helps me like process. Like I am like I work closely with like animals, like spirit animals, so I'm able to like shapeshift into animals as a way to express my emotions. And I do this basically through my clairvoyance. But I'm able to see like which this is really even hard for me to talk about because it's kind of an odd experience, and it makes me feel very weird. Like I'm like, okay, do other people do this? Like, do they act like animals as a way to process their emotions? But sometimes I do. Like, these spirit animals will come to me as a way to show me, like, this is the emotion you're experiencing, and this is why, and here I'm going to show you how you can, you know, transform it and turn it into something, to see it from a different perspective instead of seeing it as, like, you know, a lot of people get attached to their emotions, and it can really, like, make them feel really sad, and when you get sad for a really long period of time, that turns into depression. So what we really have to do is really learn how to, like, take care of yourself, which would be, like, this Ace of Cups, and do those things that make you feel good, so that you can come out of this energy of, like, despair and depression, and really, like, and make yourself feel good. And then you begin to turn around and notice the 2 cups you still have there, but you have to bring yourself out of that energy. And so those spirit animals would help me do that. And I'm able to, okay, so in a past lifetime, when I was, like, a native here, like a Native American, and it was during the time that, you know, Europe came and, you know, basically destroyed, you know, a lot of our land. And I remember, like, having a memory as I was experiencing this deep grief, because I'm feeling this grief collectively, and I'm just processing it through, like, I'm allowing the divine to, like, process it through me. You know, I'm just like a channel, a messenger, to be able to, to feel my emotions and then decode them, basically what they're showing me. And we have cellular memory, so we store these things in from other lifetimes. Like, our cellular memory goes with us, because it's stored in our emotional body. And those things can still live within us if we don't process them. So I remember in that lifetime watching, like, the land, like America, being destroyed, like trees being chopped down, and my heart was ripped out. Like, I was freaking out. And this was also my masculine energy. I've been working a lot with my own masculine energy, so I may have been a masculine in this lifetime, and I remember my heart ripping out because they were destroying our lands and killing our animals and killing our animals' homes. And, like, I felt this deep immense, like, I want to even cry thinking about it now, because, and it was like I was turning into a wolf, and I was like but then it reminded me of this time in this lifetime when I was 6 years old, about a kid. I was just a kid, and I had these fairies, and I would feel very lonely and depressed. This was me as a kid. I was lonely and depressed, and I would go out. We had these trees in our backyard that line the backyard, and I would go out to these trees, and they were perfect to be able to, like, kind of just, like, there was one that was, like, you could really climb into it. It was really easy to climb into, like, because it was really low to the ground. But I remember getting into that tree, and I would be so sad, and I would just be, like, looking out, and I'd be like, this can't be where I'm supposed to be, like, I'm so sad and I'm so lonely. And these fairies would come to me, and they would tell me this story about how, like, I was gonna have this beautiful family one day, and, like, that I was gonna have this, you know, I was gonna have a lovely husband, and, you know, and I was just gonna have this best life, this great life. They would tell me this all the time, these fairies would. And they would always, you know how kids, you can see sometimes when they are really sad, but then they always are really good at bringing themselves back out of it because they live in the present moment, you know. So that's what I've kind of learned, is how to, like, take care of that 6-year-old part of me. So I would have those sad, lonely moments where I would feel like that as a kid, and it would be like it was happening now, like I was feeling it all over again. But I had to recognize that it was just being triggered, that it was something I was stored in my emotional memory. And because I didn't allow myself to feel my emotions then I repressed them. And so when they get triggered again, they come up for you to recognize. And I remember my dad ended up cutting those trees down, and it was like I was reliving that moment from that past lifetime as that person, maybe as that masculine who felt deeply about trees, you know, and I couldn't do anything about it, you know, I felt powerless. And, you know, those are where my fairies lived. And I remember I was so mad at my dad. I was so mad at him for so long. Like, I feel like that was the first time I really was mad at him. And, like, yeah, and then, like, I was so sad that my fairies were gone, because I had attached my fairies to that tree, you know, not knowing that they were always with me, you know. But as I was able to recover my gifts and, you know, like, get back into my own intuition and my own, you know, connecting with my own soul, like, they were always right there. It was just like that veil that was like, they're not real. Because I remember going to school and, like, I was kind of quiet and shy, and none of my none of the kids at school were talking about, like, their angels, or they weren't talking about, like, I would see lights, um, like colors, like auras, like Archangel Michael, his light is blue, his aura is like a bluish white color, and I remember seeing this blue light, and I don't remember if I tried telling somebody about it, or if I spoke about it, and it wasn't well received, or if maybe I never said anything at all, but I used to see this blue light as a kid, and now that I recovered, like, a memory when I was about 6 years old too. I'm going to tell you the one about Archangel Michael, and he came to me because I was like this, I was sad, and my emotions were speaking for me, so my emotions were like prayer. So, like, my pain would, like, call out to the divine, basically, call out to God, and God sent me this angel, Archangel Michael, when I was young, before I was even 6 years old, or before I even started going to school. I couldn't verbalize this really or anything, and it was really just his presence that I felt, and I was always able to, like, connect with him. He makes me feel very safe, he makes me feel very connected. He works with the root chakra, so it's like feeling safe and secure in your own body, feeling, he's very lighthearted, and he has a lot to do with, like, humor, and he works with the inner child, so that's why God sent him to me when I was feeling very lonely and sad. And so I remember, like, wanting him to be real so bad, and I had this moment where these emotions, I got really angry and upset at Archangel Michael because he couldn't be real, and I wanted him to be real so bad. I wanted him to be right here with me, I wanted to be able to see him, and I wanted to be able to touch him, and I couldn't, and so I got angry at him, and I cut him off. Like, I was like so mad at him, and I had this moment where I was just crying, and I was holding myself, and it was just 6-year-old me, who was so angry and so mad that this angel that came here to, like, protect her and, make her feel safe and secure couldn't be, like, physical. So it's so nice to be able to, like, come back and connect with him, and I don't really see the blue light anymore. I did see it one time afterwards as a way to help me remember that memory, that restored that memory that was repressed, so that I could always feel Archangel Michael here with me. And he was basically like, I've always been here, it's only been you, because I got angry, and I was like, no, like, since you can't be here in the physical and you can't be real, then I'm just cutting you out. Oh, but I just cried and cried because I was so excited that he was back, and that, he just makes me feel really connected to myself. So if you're feeling that way, you can also call upon Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael. They're really helpful for, like, healing the heart space and helping you feel connected, helping you feel safe. You just feel connected to your soul, and you just feel like this bubble of, like, I don't know, they just help me feel like this bubble of compassion. And it's really helpful. So if you work with angels, or you've always felt called to angels, then maybe you're drawn to this message, and it's like confirmation that, like, these presence that you feel with you, yes, like, you can trust them, because like, I've had to form a relationship with Archangel Michael. I've had to learn how to trust him, and learn to, like, trust his, like, word over, maybe my ego's voice, and really learning to discern between the two, between, like, my angels and what is my mind. Usually, your ego is going to be obnoxious. It's going to, like, tell you to be, like, it's going to tell you bad things about yourself, or you're going to be alone forever, or nobody loves you, or nobody likes you. That's your ego. That's not your angels. So they're very uplifting, so you have to train your mind to listen for that, like, gentle voice within you, rather than that loud, harsh voice. The loud, harsh voice is obviously going to be clearer, and it's going to be obnoxious, so that's your ego, so it's limited. Your ego is only your subconscious programming, whereas that gentle voice that tells you, like, everything's okay, or I don't know, you have to really learn to listen to that voice and get really quiet and be really still. But a lot of us, like I said, we like to distract ourselves and be really busy. But it's like that moment, right before you're about to fall asleep, and you kind of, like, you feel at peace, and I don't know, it's like that gentle voice just kind of, like, that's like your intuition, that's your soul. So it's like really learning how to listen for that voice, the voice that's kind, and it sounds like a loving mother and a loving friend, and the encourager, that's the part of us, that's our divine masculine and feminine, our divine mother and father within us. And it's really about accessing your own divine mother and your own divine father within yourself and reparenting yourself. What else about this Five of Cups? Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, exactly. Because this is like our legacy. This is what we're going to leave behind. And to me, this isn't just about physical wealth. This is about like belief systems, you know, and really like what you're bringing into the physical world with your behaviors, with your voice, with the way you treat people, with the way you talk to people. That's also your legacy, not just what you leave behind physically, but the way you treated people. So that's what I'm kind of getting there. And when we are fulfilling ourselves and we're loving ourselves and we're treating ourselves with kindness and compassion and with love, we're going to be doing that to other people. And that is what really builds a giant. That's what builds an empire that can go beyond the grave, you know? And this is what, like, our roots. So I love that I was talking about Archangel Michael, because I'm seeing the root chakra with this card. This is like the material world, so it is like the root chakra. It's like, I'm seeing a big, large tree with really strong, long, deep roots. And what a lot of people don't like to do is actually, it's like their past, because this is a card of the past. And what I'm picking up on is a lot of people don't want to do the work to create a really strong foundation and really look at their roots. Because the roots are deep and dark and kind of scary, you know, you don't know what you're going to uncover. You're moving through ancestral patterns, you're moving through things that aren't even yours, you're moving through things that are your fathers and your grandfathers and the fathers before you, and same goes for your mothers and your mothers before you. And so like, really taking a look at your past and learning what you can do to tend to your roots and like really watering them. Watering your roots with like nourishment, so like really focusing on your health, and really, because health is wealth, focusing on your body. This is a card of longevity. Focusing on your material world too, like what is it that's abundant? Like this is the card of abundance, so focusing on your abundance. What is surrounding you? What can you give thanks for, even if it's the smallest thing? Like this is a card of family, so this could be family healing, this could be healing from the past, like past pain from, you know, your family. So there's lots of different messages that are coming through with this. So but also like what you're doing, like the emotions that you're feeling are creating this this Ten of Pentacles energy too. So it's like this is an energy within yourself. It's not just about the physical. So it's like feeling really abundant within yourself, focusing on all your good qualities, focusing on your beauty. I'm seeing the word beauty with this card too. So focusing on the beauty that surrounds you, even if it's the smallest thing. You could be drawn to like pets, like there's some dogs on the card, or you know, there's a child on the card too, and I always see this as like the masculine, feminine, the old wise person within us, and like our loyalty, our like primal aspect of ourself, and then like our inner child. So really like getting in touch with all those parts of yourselves really helps you to like fill your own cup, which helps bring you out of this energy of like despair and regret and remorse. So it's like, yeah, really evaluating your past and observing your past, not getting attached to your past, but being very detached from it, seeing it from a different perspective of how it can bring you this Ten of Pentacles. Like, how can you use your past to create this Ten of Pentacles in the physical world? How can you take your emotions that you've learned, like your wisdom, and create something with it to create a very strong foundation in the physical world? That's another message I'm getting. It's like using that wisdom from your emotions. Your emotions aren't here to like beat you up or like make you feel bad or anything. They're here to teach you. They're here to like, I'm hearing self-mastery and like spiritual growth, and really planting those seeds into the physical world. And like you'll reap a bountiful harvest is the word that I hear. So like instead of focusing on maybe what you've lost, maybe you're feeling, because this is a card of loss, so if there's any sort of loss, maybe even related to family, like this is part of the legacy. This is part of what's going to be like excuse me that's what's going to be part of, like, I feel like this healing process is what is really going to build this sense of like security within yourself, because sometimes we have to feel that like deep loss in order to like, I'm hearing like shift in values, in order to like shift our values and find out what it is that really does it for us, or what that Ten of Pentacles is for us, rather than like the outside, looking to the outside to tell us what that Ten of Pentacles is, you know. It's not about like having a huge house or having tons of money even. It's just about like having a very stable, strong foundation. Like basically it's like your foundation comes from like God or from source, rather than your foundation coming from the material world. Because there could even be financial loss, if that resonates with anyone. Because this is like all about, this is like a card of finances, and this is a card of loss, so I kind of saw that too. Like financial hardship, or it could be some like kind of loss towards like, I'm seeing like a shift in belief. So it's like this idea that you had of what you thought your Ten of Pentacles was going to look like is like crumbling, kind of. I'm also seeing the Tower, so that might be another important card. Like, that's falling away, so that you're getting, like, instead of looking at what you're losing, it's like you're getting a chance to see what it is that really matters to you, and rebuilding. So like that can be scary. It's like, who wants to rebuild? Who wants to like start all over? Because this is kind of a new beginning. Ace of Cups is a new beginning. You know, to rebuild this. Like, if you had a certain idea of what your Ten of Pentacles was, and you're like, shit, that's not what I want at all, or that's not aligned with my soul at all, and I know it's not getting me anywhere, it's not bringing me the status. It's like feeling that energy of like, I have enough, like I am enough. And honestly, that starts with yourself. So when you're feeling these emotions of loss and despair, you want to tell yourself that you're not good enough. You have to tell yourself that I am enough, and change that dialogue as a way to align with this Ten of Pentacles, this more soul aligned abundance and material growth. Because it's okay to have material things and to have material growth, especially in the physical world, and you might have a desire to make lots of money as a way to like give back, or like if you have a certain purpose or you have a certain cause, it's like getting clear on why you want the material things, or why you want that material wealth. Is it just for personal gain so that you can hoard it and keep it all for yourself, like, or is it so that you can create something like in the physical world that you want to leave behind that's for good, you know, and not all just for personal gain. Alright, what's your advice for us? Okay, Knight of Swords. Like, there's no need to rush, there's no need to be impulsive. This is kind of like impulsive movement forward. It's like wanting to rush towards that, or like rush the healing process, or rush the loss, or what else with the Knight of Swords? Like, sometimes we want to skip over the, you know, the loss part, like the feeling of the deep emotions. We just want to get to the like Ten of Pentacles, but really it's like feeling those emotions and feeling that grief and feeling that loss is actually what waters the roots that makes you even stronger in the physical. So it's like, start with the emotions and the outside will prosper, but we've kind of got it backwards, and we try to work from the outside in, and it makes us feel burned out, it makes us feel tired, and that's exactly what we got here. Four of Swords, needing to rest. Instead of trying to control, because the Knight of Swords is kind of wanting to control, like wanting to control how this Ten of Pentacles comes about, or how this, you know, it's like being really rigid about what this Ten of Pentacles is. It has to look a certain way, kind of like what our society has taught us, and it's like really grieving that. Like, maybe this Ten of Pentacles that we're going to create for ourselves isn't going to look anything like what we've been taught it's supposed to look like fancy houses and, you know, nice cars, and like, you know, maybe it's not that at all. Maybe it's something completely different, and you have to kind of like grieve this idea that you had, these expectations you had for your life that, you know, weren't in the highest good for you. So it might look pretty. It's like that all that glitters is gold, kind of. Like, it might look pretty on the outside and might be what everyone else has, but maybe it's not what was meant for you. Maybe it's not what was meant for your soul. And so you have to like learn to like let go of those things, and that can feel like a loss, literally, even if it's like something you had planned for your life and then your life seems to be going a different route. Your soul wants you to go in a different direction, and you have to like let go of that image. You have to let go of that like status or that title or that really strict image you had in your mind of what it means to be wealthy. Because a lot of people, you know, it's just because you have money doesn't mean you're wealthy, you know. It does not mean that at all. You can be very empty. But wealth to me is like overflowing abundance. It's like this Ace of Cups. Taking care of yourself, nourishing yourself, loving on yourself, generating that feeling from spirit. And you do that by resting. Kind of comes full circle, which I love with the world. I was saying this, like retreating, resting, taking a nap, going within. It's mental stillness. It's mental health. This is a card of mental health to me always. It's like you need to take a break. You need to be still, lay here and be still. This is literally like stone, like he's like concrete laying there. These are two contrasting energies, so it's like instead of rushing forward and being impulsive, especially with communication in some sorts, this is another swords card, so chill. There's a card there of chill, rest, retreat, and it's okay. It's just like don't punish yourself during that time either. Underneath the deck is Four of Cups. This is another card of depression, sadness, feeling like you're missing something, but really it's like you gotta fill your own cup. Then you don't feel like you're ever missing anything. You find that home within yourself. This is kind of like a card of home, family, in the physical plane. Feeling like you're missing out, but this is your spiritual awakening. This is your higher calling. This is your soul's calling out for change, to be vulnerable to. I like the trumpet there. I'm playing the horn too, like to really, I don't know, this is a card of spiritual gifts and using your spiritual gifts to me. So it could have to do with music, it could have to do with speaking, it could have to do with sharing yourself in a creative and expression way that's actually very vulnerable. And, that's like your higher calling. Then we have the Magician. These are all great cards underneath the deck. So like you have the power to create anything. You are the wizard. You are the magician. You can create like heaven on earth. This is turning into your power. That you have all the resources you need. You're not missing anything. You can create with right where you're at, right here, right now. This is the divine masculine energy within us. The encourager, the motivator, the strategist. You have everything you need. And then underneath that is the Lovers. So really feeling this wholeness within yourself, really feeling this love, this, like I said, kind of like the world and the Ace of Cups, and feeling all that love all on your own, like being your own lover. And then you're attracting this, so attracting a soulmate. And then underneath that is the Ten of Cups, so your happy, emotional fulfillment, your happy family, your dream come true. This is your dream come true in the physical. Here we have the masculine and feminine again with the inner child and the rainbow. Rainbow also might be a message for you. Then another card about resting and retreating. Hermit. Going within. This is tapping into your own wisdom. You can't see the whole picture. That might make you scared and anxious and feel like you're losing, your footing. But also you can only see for the 2 steps in front of you. So that's all you can focus on. Be present. Be still. Be conscious. Like, this is also another wizard card to me. So like you really have the power, and your power is going within right now. And making yourself happy, making yourself feel good, because underneath that is Temperance. So emotional healing, emotional balance. I love this card because it has an angel on it. So feeling very connected to your angels, feeling supported, feeling guided, feeling balanced. This is a card of health to me too, like feeling more emotionally stable, feeling more emotionally balanced. And then underneath that, speaking of emotional balance, we have the King of Cups. So feeling very romantic, feeling very emotionally stable, feeling emotionally connected. Feeling very loving and caring and gentle and compassionate and kind. That's kind of the King of Cups to me. So I love that. That's all underneath the deck. That was perfect. I do want to pull some oracle cards. Alright, what do we need to know with the World and Ace of Cups? Strategy. I was thinking about that with the divine masculine energy. Gosh, excuse me again. Like the strategy here is like, how do I take care of myself? Learning how to this could be like a routine, or what is it that I need to do to take care of myself best right now? So kind of maybe journaling. This says journal log on it. The feathers could also be a message for you, or there's a telescope or a compass or a key. So really maybe making a list or making a plan, or just kind of writing down. One thing that you can do is what would you want a lover to do for you? How would you want a lover to be towards you? How would you want a lover to act towards you? And then writing all that down, and then become that yourself. Start checking those things off your list and do those things for yourself. Like I was saying, if you want a lover to give you a massage, is that something you desire? Give yourself a massage. You want a lover to dance with, get up and dance. Imagine yourself with that person, or if you don't have a person, just imagine what it would be like to have a person. That's really Ace of Cups and taking care of yourself. What else with strategy? Appreciation. Yes, exactly. I love this because she's holding a flower there. So this is about, like I was saying with the Ten of Pentacles here, focusing on the beauty that surrounds you, even if it's not much. Like, because one of these bushes is like dead, and the other one, you know, she's choosing to focus on that one pretty flower she does have, even if the rest are dead. So, yeah, this is a card of gratitude. That's the strategy, in my opinion, is to focus on your beauty. That's totally the Ace of Cups too. Focus on your love. Focus on, like, I give thanks for my body every single day. Giving thanks for the earth. She's outside. This could be a message to connect with the flowers. Could be a message to get outside and go for a walk. Just to connect to Mother Earth in some way, somehow. Put flowers in your home. Get a plant or two. Garden. I mean, it's winter here, so, but if you're watching this some other place, like, connecting to nature somehow, connecting with animals is important too. Like maybe a pet. Okay, I'm going to take these with the 5 of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles, but we have the Healer of the Ages in reverse, which is saying that there's some healing to be done around, like, limiting beliefs, or, like, the past, or, like, this could be like inner child healing with Christ, or, like, heart healing, because we also did get the man holding a heart upright. So this is, like, connecting to your heart center, getting in tune to your heart space, which actually might bring up a lot of grief and a lot of sadness, but that's part of the healing, and I was kind of feeling that there. And so we do have Christ, so you might be working with Christ as one of your ascended masters. And yeah, I like that he has, like, fire in his hand and a golden thing coming from his chest, like golden light coming from his chest. So yeah, I'm just getting, like, connecting with your emotions more, which is great, but it's also going to bring up a lot of healing, and might feel like a lot of sadness, or you might get caught up in, like, all that you're lacking or that you don't have or what's missing. That's kind of the 5 of Cups. But the strategy is to focus on what you do have. Focus on your body, like, focus on how your, like, talents and your gifts, and, like, what did God give you to use, you know, like, focus on that, like, and that was kind of like the Judgment card underneath the deck too, like, focusing on, like, devotion to your body, devotion to a higher power even, and that's also what the 4 of Swords is about. Like, this is like meditation to me too, so meditation might be a message, and that really helps you just be more present, and then you're able to notice the things around you that you know, you appreciate or that you love. So what about this Knight of Swords and 4 of Swords? Another sword. We have hostilities. Yeah, I like this because it's kind of like the same look on the face, like this very, like, intense, like, wanting to rush forward, like, wanting to come in battle, like, both got the swords raised, so you might be feeling, like, defensive. So that's why it's really important to meditate, take a step back, to rest, to not move forward impulsively with that anger, but really use your anger. It's like doing those things, like I was saying, it takes a little bit more effort. Like, it's easier to be sad and to cry and to, you know, be lonely in your bed and, like, feel like you're alone forever. But it's really a lot more challenging to get up and take care of yourself and to process this anger in a healthy way. One way that I process, like, my hostilities and my anger is through dance, like, through, and it's not like you have to have a routine, it's just like you put on some music and you just let the music move through you. And sometimes I like to even, like, punch, you know, when I'm moving or when I'm dancing, or I like to do workouts where, you know, it's like like kickboxing or whatever. So there are very constructive ways that you can deal with your hostilities and your anger in a healthy way. Instead of, like, impulsively, like, communicating or, like, saying harsh things to people, you know, or, like, things like that. It's like, take a step back, which would be the 4 of Swords, take a little rest, get in tune to your heart space, you know, get in tune to love, and then these hostilities begin to, like, dissipate. What else with hostilities there? What is your advice? Angel of Strength, yes, and I love that there's a lion on this card, which also showed up on the World card. And another angel showed up, so, feeling connected to your, like, compassion, because we tend to think that strength comes from, like, being hostile. It comes from, like, being rough and tough on the outside and being, like, whew, like, really hard, you know? But actually strength comes from being gentle and compassionate and vulnerable. That's where our strength comes from. This is where our courage is, you know, developed is by being very vulnerable and being very soft. In those moments where we could be really harsh, we're able to tame ourselves to the point, like taming your beast, like taming yourself to the point that somebody can trigger you to feel anger, and you can react from a place of calmness and compassion and understanding. That's true strength. So instead of being like reacting harshly and impulsively like that Knight of Swords, because that's all about communication, so it's like really learning to tame that beast, tame your own triggers, recognizing that they're not being triggered by this person, but they're coming from like these repressed feelings you have within yourself. Instead of like word vomiting onto other people, it's like having that strength to tame yourself and speak with kindness, speak with gentle, loving care. And I love the lion. Underneath the deck is community. So I'm really getting in tune to like feeling connected to a community, feeling connected to like-minded people. Yeah, I really like this card. Maybe like there's all women on this card, so like connecting to like a group of like sisters, or finding, just like finding your tribe kind of. Okay, let's get some from the fairies and we'll be done. I don't have my chakra cards to end it today, but let's see what the fairies have to say. Do we need to? Okay, yes. I'm totally feeling this. Emotional healing. I love that her hands there are like on her chest. This could be a message to work with crystals. Also, there's a tree in the card, so connecting with nature. Butterflies are on here, so that might be a message as well. I like that they're aligned with the chakras, so as your heart heals of old emotional pain, you receive new blessings and love, which I love that came with new blessings and love, because that's what this is. The Ace of Cups is new blessings and love. If you can, like, choose to focus, like, if you're feeling a lot of emotional, if you're going through a lot of emotional healing, this could, like I said, you can get attached to your emotions, but really you're supposed to, like, the strategy is to appreciate your emotions. So, see them and treat them like a loving child. Like, okay, so I have a lot of doubt. And I have doubt and fear, Those are like, I see them as my little babies. Doubt and fear. Here are my little babies, doubt and fear. And they'll talk, they'll talk all the time, or they'll scream and cry, and I just have to hold them. And I'm like, I see you, doubt. I see that you're feeling really insecure right now. But I'm here to reassure you that everything is okay. Like, I've got you. There's no need for you to, self-sabotage or to put yourself down. There's no need for you to put yourself down. I've got you. Or then fear, it'll step in and it's so scared and it's just like, like, no, this bad thing's gonna happen. I'm like, fear, it's really okay. I've got you. I'm right here. And you have to talk to fear like it's your mother, like, or like it's your baby. Like, I've got you, fear. Everything's gonna be okay. And you, like, sometimes maybe you just have to put your hand on your heart and you have to talk to yourself like that. Like, everything's going to be okay. I've got you. In those moments, even when you're bawling and you're crying, look at yourself in the mirror, get yourself up, bawl and look at yourself and look how people make fun of your cry. Like, I look ugly when I cry, of course, and love yourself in those moments. Like, you look beautiful when you cry. You're beautiful when you're scared, Can you talk to yourself like that? Can you care for yourself in that way? Because if you want somebody else to do that for you in your deepest, darkest pain, you have to be able to do it for yourself. What else with the emotional healing there? New career. Your work focus is shifting in a positive, new, and successful direction. Well, that's exciting. So if you're, like, focusing on your career, or you're wanting to shift in a new direction, or you're wanting a new job, or your job, you're wanting to get out of your job, maybe. That's kind of a strategy. To allow yourself to feel the emotions of fear and doubt that come up exactly when you're, like, shifting careers or something, that want to stop you and keep you stuck in the same old place. It's like, allow yourself to feel the emotions, allow yourself to move through them, and as you do that, like, you'll create new opportunities in career, is what I'm picking up on. So it's like, yes, feel scared. It's okay to feel fear. It's okay to feel doubt. It's okay. It's not all about love and light. You gotta feel those emotions too. They're there. And I like that. And the emotional healing, and this card came with, like, water too. Like, I was saying that with the Ace of Cups too. So that's another message I'm getting. But you see, this is water, is like, she's parting the water. This angel is, and it's a rainbow aura, so that might be a message for you as well. You can't really tell on here, but this card even kind of, like, rainbow colors, like, because she has the chakras there, so it's like, even with the storm, there will be, like, without, rain, we wouldn't see a rainbow. So we think, even in the darkest times, there's hope. Because in the middle here, it's like there's some hopelessness. But this is reconnecting to grief. Is one of my favorite emotions. As much as it's hard to feel and allow yourself to go there, it's how you reunite with love and the divine. And so it's like really catapults you into divine love, into a higher power. That's what I feel like is happening here. What do we need to know about this? Healer of the ages, a man holding a heart. Winter. The answer to your prayers and affirmations are fully realized in the winter months. So winter is also a really hard month where you feel like very depressed and you feel very sad and you feel very like hopeless, and the sun hasn't been out. I think I heard on the news that we haven't seen the sun here since the 21st. That's like 10 days without the sun. That's and then we have the sun here, literally. The sun, Jesus. So if Jesus is our sun, even when our sun is like not shining, our physical sun isn't shining, Christ is always shining within us. But our mind, and that's why it's important to rest and meditate, our mind are like the clouds, and our mind can get really cloudy this time of year. And look, even in this card, it's gray and kind of cloudy, and there's no sunshine, It's like really tapping into your inner sun, which your inner sun could also be like healing your own inner boy, your own inner child. So this could be a message for like men out there if you're watching this, or for anyone who's watching this for a man they're connecting with. They might be healing their own inner son, literally like their son, their child, their little boy self, which is also helping them connect to that part of them that is Christ, because they are a son of God, but they have to recognize that and find their value and find their worth in God, which gives them a really strong foundation and heals any insecurities or doubts or, remorse or regrets or, past pain, because they find their love in something that's eternal, their eternal Father. And they know, like, especially if any men have been abandoned by their fathers, or were just like very neglected by their fathers, this could create abandonment wound, emotionally, an emotional abandonment wound, or a physical abandonment wound. So there might be a lot of men that you're connecting to that are healing this abandonment wound from their fathers. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but there's a unicorn on the card. So that might be a message for you. Unicorns always represent like expressing your individuality, which also might be what these masculines or men, or even the part of us that's a masculine is learning how to do, is express our individuality more. What else there with winter? Pregnancy. That's interesting. The birth of a child brings great blessings to you and the world. So this could be physical pregnancy, but it could also be like a new creative idea, which we had a new career. So it could be like birthing a new project, but you could take this literally if it's physical pregnancy, I really love the pink on this card too, which I was mentioning the color pink as this started. Or maybe this is something like you're desiring, or even maybe a lot of men are desiring this, or wanting to start a family, because I was kind of picking up on this family card here. But maybe this wanting to have a family is also triggering a lot of wounds that need to be healed within yourself first, so that you can be the best parent you can possibly be. And so when we have a desire to, have a child or have a family or be pregnant, it also is going to bring up a lot of things that are going to prepare us for that, So this is going to be lessons. These are going to be spiritual lessons that we learn how to take care of ourselves, like I was saying, reparenting yourself. So if you desire some sort of, like if you desire to be a mother, if you desire to be pregnant, or if you desire to have a family, and that's something you're sending out, like a vibration you're sending out, you're also going to, God or the divine is going to send you help to help you, take care of yourself as you would a child, so that you prepare yourself to be a mother. Because a lot of us, we go into motherhood or fatherhood and we're not prepared, It's because we haven't learned how to take care of ourselves and our own inner child. But once we learn how to take care of ourselves in those infancy stages, those toddler stages within our own selves, and we meet those aspects within ourselves again that we've abandoned or we've pushed away, then we really learn how to care for our own children. And we are able to look over our children like God would look over them. Okay, what else is your advice here with hostilities and angel of strength? You've got the power. Use your abilities to resolve this situation. You can do it. And I like that it says you've got the power, because the angel of strength there is always saying, like, a card of like power, like you have the strength to do it. And it says you can resolve this situation. So if there's any this is also, I'm hearing like take a leap of faith, she's kind of walking on, there's a dragonfly on this card, a ladybug, a butterfly, and a little gerbil. So any of those could be spirit animals or things that stand out to you. What else there, though? You've got the power. What else? Autumn. It says, in the fall season, everything comes together and you reap wonderful harvest of abundance, which I said that with the Ten of Pentacles. But I'm also picking up on this, because it's not always timing, like this could be actual autumn. But I'm also picking up, this is just a card of like feeling very abundant within yourself. So I think it's like if you take this, you've got the power by like focusing on gratitude, because we had the appreciation come up. Because that's what the card of autumn always represents to me, is like appreciation and abundance. And so like as you focus on your abundance and you take a moment to rest, because autumn is also the time where you take a rest and you allow yourself to reap these harvests, but it's like learning how to receive. So you might not be used to me receiving, and so it might be like really uncomfortable. Let's get another one there. Let go, it says. As you surrender the need to control, your relaxed energy rapidly attracts your desires. Yeah, so it's like letting go. This is also a green card. There's a bird there. I think it's a robin, but being able to like connect with nature or will help you to let go. It's also kind of the Five of Cups card, is like letting go, of surrendering. It's also the Four of Swords, like there's nothing you can do really, so instead of forcing and pushing, which would create more hostilities and more of that, like, this is like an aggression card to me, the Knight of Swords is. It's like resting and letting go. That's kind of there, like letting go. Yeah, it's like not controlling, like learning how to let go of control, which can be really hard because the ego wants to control. It feels safe. And then underneath the deck is Spring. And I love the little child on this card and the butterfly, and it says, your desires fully manifest as the flowers begin to bloom. So that could also be another timing question. And then everything's okay. Don't worry, it's all working out in a beautiful way. So I think that's the perfect card to end this reading. So I hope this was helpful. I do private readings, so if you'd like to get a reading from me, you can message me on Instagram. I'll leave all that information below, and my prices are listed on my bio, so if you want to check that out. Other than that, I thank you for watching, and I will be back next time.